now, there is absolutely no doubt that Pakistan has been shaken to its core since the surgical strike in POK. But if defending India, giving a morale boost to our jawans and making terrorists pay makes for good politics, then one-upmanship isn't far behind. Well, the Congress on Tuesday, remember, decided that it deserved credit as well. It claimed, with dates, that Pakistan had been struck under the UPA as well. Well, today the man at the helm of military operations during the 2012-2014 period in question has refuted these boasts. In fact, speaking to NewsX, retired Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia says comparing UPA-era strikes to what happened after Uri is comparing apples to oranges. So why is the political upmanship taking place? And why can't we simply be united in front of the enemy?
That even in the past, our forces have successfully conducted such surgical strikes on numerous occasions, particularly on 1st of September 2011, 28th of July 2013, in its maturity, wisdom, and in the interest of national security. Congress government avoided making loud claims in the interest of effective response and action of the Indian Army, which had complete backing of politics.
Well, in fact, let's go across to our editor-in-chief, Rahul Shivshankar, who's joining us. Rahul, this is going to be damning.
Yes, thanks indeed. We are joined by former DGMO Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia. Mr. Bhatia, thank you for speaking to NewsX. The Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar has come out and said that the Indian Army conducted a 100% perfect surgical strike, and our nation carries the heart and courage to carry this task out. And this is amply proven. Would you agree with this assessment?
Oh yes, the surgical strikes makes every Indian proud, and every soldier very proud of the professionalism, the dedication, the commitment of one of the most battle-hardened, combat-rich army and the armed forces in the world. That is the Indian Army and the Indian Armed Forces.
He says that it's a one-of-its-kind strike. Would you go ahead with that and say that yes, it's a one-of-its-kind strike, that it's the kind of thing that hadn't been attempted before on scale?
It is obvious that it's one of its kind. It's one of its kinds where the nation has stood together. The strike is orchestrated, all domains. India has responded to Pakistan's terror for the last 26 years, all domains. That is the diplomatic domain, cancelling the SAARC meeting, conference, the economic domain, the informational domain where the media has played a great part, and also the military domain where the special forces or special operations have been carried out in a very surgical manner. A strike has been done across both sides of the Pir Panjal in an area of about 250 kilometers.
So what was particularly noteworthy about this surgical strike? After so much information has come out and so many details have now appeared in the press and through reportage, we know that multiple targets were hit in Pakistan across the LOC by soldiers who crossed over. Now, I just want to ask you, sir, when an operation like this is conducted, the scale obviously is large, big, but the coordination must also need to have been spot on, right, for this to be 100%. What's so different about this surgical strike, sir?
These are very delicate operations, very deliberate operations, extremely well planned, and there is no scope for error. There is no maafi galti in this. Anything going wrong would be a national embarrassment. So there is no scope for error in this, and the strikes have been very well executed, coordinated, and the infiltration, not the infiltration. I'm sorry to say that. The insertion has taken place, the execution has taken place, and extrication has taken place, and we come out 100% successful with no casualties whatsoever. We caused a dilemma into the Pakistani army camp and the Pakistan itself, where they cannot agree to the strikes, that the strikes have taken place, and they cannot deny that strikes have not taken place.
How is this strike of September 28 different from the ones in 2011, 2013 and 2014? The Congress has said that under its UPA it conducted these 3 strikes of equal magnitude.
First, I do not know what the Congress has said or what they have not said. And as a soldier, I am apolitical. I would not like to get into a debate of one party or the other. But let me assure you that these surgical strikes are in a different domain, in a different dimension, and in different scales. And they have a different impact totally on our country and on our adversaries both.
So how is this, from a military perspective, how is this different in scope, scale and impact, sir, from the earlier ones?
You look at the selection of targets. Now, selection of targets is very well orchestrated. The targets have been so selected, like I said, either side of Pir Panjal, literally about 250 to 300 kilometers apart. And these operations which have been carried out, surgical strike, have been carried out post-Uri, where we avenged the martyrdom of our 20 soldiers, brave soldiers who were martyred in the Uri attack. So these are punitive operations, and it's so well that it's a punitive operations and preemptive operations in the same vein. You see, punitive in the sense that we have avenged the martyrs, and preemptive in the sense that there were terrorists in the launch pads waiting to infiltrate across the LC into our territory, and we have gone and eliminated them in the launch pads.
So, sir, from a strictly military perspective, this strike is in a place of its own in the annals of Indian military operations.
Oh yes, the Indian military and the Indian Army in particular are used to carrying out successful operations, and this is one of the more successful operations. There's no doubt about it. It's a surgical operation, very well synchronized. It's gone off like clockwork, and I think we must compliment all those who took part, all the planners from the chief downwards, troops who took part, the leaders, junior leaders especially, who were there with them. We must compliment them, and it's sad to know. I'm really pained to see that some of us, among us, are raising questions as to the veracity of the strike. This is not correct. You have to trust your chief, you have to trust your DGMO, you have to trust your army. If you do not trust your army, it is to your peril.
But sir, there are continuing people who are asking why is it wrong to question and hold the army to account, sir?
No, there's nothing wrong in it. As far as they are concerned, they have a right to know, and that right to know is there. And like someone said, it's enshrined in the Constitution. Let me also assure you that I read the same Constitution. It's enshrined that every soldier, the armed forces especially, they have a duty. And we should also understand there's a duty to be done. And the duty has been done very, very well. And let's not ask for details. Let's not ask for the evidence and the proof, which is not going to help us, but only degrade our capabilities. Rather, we should build capabilities, we should enhance our capacities, and make sure that next time we even do a better job of what we've done now.
Sir, as a military man, what do you think of certain political parties who say that humne bhi kiya tha, we also did surgical strikes, what's the big deal? As a military man, sir.
No, as a military man, I will not comment on the politics. Give me a job, I'll do it very, very well. And please trust your army. It's the nation's army. Your army will stand by you and do what is required to be done. What is ordered by the government. Like I said, we are a professional army, a very disciplined army, and a political army. And the jobs given will be done very well.
General Bhatia, thank you for speaking to me. Thank you for setting the record straight. He's made some important points. He has certainly come out and said that this particular operation that was conducted, the surgical strike of September 28th, was in a league of its own. Can't be compared to the strikes in the past, given the operational scale, magnitude, and the level of impact. So, Meghna, anyone who is trying to today undercut this particular strike by suggesting that humne bhi kiya tha, we had also done them, are not doing really a service to either the complexity of this military undertaking or, of course, our Jawans, the commandos who went across and executed this strike. Because they will only end up detracting from the planning, from the scope, scale of this operation and benefiting Pakistan. That's really where this matter stands. And all those doubters who have come forth and asked for proof, who have suggested that there is no need to beat your chest on the back of this strike because it's routine, and who try to valorize their own approach by saying that we never revealed our own surgical strikes today, perhaps need to introspect. Back to you, Meghna.
Well, thank you very much, Rahul, for getting us that big exclusive interview that we had, which puts to rest the claims of the UPA, which has been boasting after the boast of the Indian government regarding the surgical strikes that it managed to carry out successfully with 100% success. The UPA's claims that it too had carried out surgical strikes really gets lost today. The wind has been taken out of that big boast.